Hi, my name's Tim Hill, my company is Utonic, and today we're going to go through the deadlift, or rather just principally learning the hip hinge before actually adding any weight. So the first thing you want to do is go for a good warm up and make sure that you've got good hip flexibility. So your knees should be able to go behind the hip. So I'll link a warm up in the description below. Then principally, in terms of learning the movement, the first thing you actually want to do when you're doing a deadlift is keep a straight back. So how you achieve that is by, when you're deadlifting, is having a small bend at the knee. So if I've got a small bend at the knee, when I then tip over, I move through my hip joint, okay? My back stays straight and I maintain my lumbar curve. So I'll show you again. So you see I have a lumbar curve here, I should have that. And then basically as I bend over, I'm trying to maintain that. So I'm moving from my hip. So I'm coming up by basically squeezing my bottom. Okay, so how you would do a deadlift wrong, if you lock your legs out and hyperextend, you'll engage your hamstrings. So if I do that at the start of the movement, once the muscle switches on, it's very hard to switch it off. So as you can see now, I'm bending from my back. But we can simply get rid of that by bending my knees, yeah? So you just need a small bend at the knee, and you need to maintain that small bend throughout so you move through your hip. Okay? And then in terms of the up action, what you want to think about is, one, engaging your pelvic floor, it stabilises the base of the spine. Two, trying to fully extend the hips. So obviously hyperextending your lower back as you come up is no good, because that's going to put a lot of pressure on the back. But what you should do, if you've got good hip flexibility and you can get your knee behind your hip, which hopefully you can, then as you deadlift you should be trying to fully extend your hip. Because say in actions such as running, the knee goes behind the hip, so we should fully extend as we do our deadlift to get the most out of the lift. So what you should find that, say, hopefully, as I say, work on your hip flexibility, squeeze your bum. You should then actually be angling back slightly at the end of the lift, but just don't let go of the core as you do it. Okay, so the key thing, say, if we get rid of the stick for a second, if you put your fingers there and there, so if you find your ribs and your iliac crest, the bony bits on the front of your hips, basically the gap between here and here should stay the same. So as you push your bum back, that gap is the same, and then as you extend, the gap stays the same. So you're extending your hip by squeezing your bum, you are not trying to hyperextend your lumbar. So you keep a good tight core throughout. So again, think pelvic floor, squeeze your bum, and definitely in this position, don't let the glutes go. So clench as you come up, basically. And then obviously, so in terms of moving on, you can then start practicing with a weight once you've got the hang of the movement. So give it some practice. And then when you're feeling confident and you've practiced several times and it's becoming automatic in terms of the hip hinge, then you can try and add some weight. So a nice easy thing would be a kettlebell. So with this, you can think about holding your shoulders back and then basically putting the weight back towards your heels. So think about, say, the weight should start between your ankles, okay? So you basically hold your shoulders back, push your bum backwards, again pull those shoulders in, try and make sure your glutes are on the stretch. So here everything should feel taut, and then you simply engage your pelvic floor, clench your buttocks to come up. And you shouldn't feel any pressure then on the lower back. What you should feel is your core working and you are telling those glutes to work. So again, I'll show you side on so you can get a good view. So again, starting with a handle between your ankles. Basically, if you start in this position, you'll feel a lot of load on your back. Whereas if you start in this position, then you'll feel the load in your glutes, which is where it should be. So again, so head up, chin tucked in, draw those shoulders in, and again, tight core, squeeze your bum, and then try and fully extend your hip, keeping your shoulders pulled back throughout. Excellent. We'll give it some practice, and I hope you found this video useful and informative, and if you did, then please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to my channel.